just turn off the loop pedal there. Greetings and welcome to my channel. My name's Tim Scott. Today we're going to be taking a look at a tune that I wrote called Angel Dust. Now I'm going to start with the chords because the most influential part of a tune for me generally is the chords. So I start by trying to find the chords that will inspire the best melodies, you know, the ones that I want to improvise over forever. So I'm definitely going to find some really great catchy melodies and also have some fun with the improvisation and the fine-tuning the fancy stuff, the kind of show-offy stuff over the top of it. So the chords I wrote here I took from a chord scale. So this is in the key of D minor, and I wrote it in D minor on purpose. Part of my process of deciding how I'm going to write a tune is deciding what key it's in, what tempo it's at, what kind of feel it's going to be. So I started off writing these chords on guitar. So I just harmonised the scale into triads. I took that kind of funk idea of playing triads and then turned a chord scale into triads, but also then I put a little bit of a twist in this so it becomes harmonic minor on the Phrygian note. So that would be Phrygian dominant with the minor third raised to a major third. So the triads I'm going to be using in this piece, I'll just walk through them. So we're going to be using D minor, we're going to be using C, we're going to be using B flat, we're going to be using A minor, G minor, and then we're going to be using A7. So if you see what I've substituted on the end, that should be minor because it was minor then. Hang on, what have we done there? So what I've done is I've raised the third and then I've put a seventh in, which adds to the tension as it turns around and goes back round the loop. As I play it here, you can probably see that I'm using something called hybrid picking, where I'm using the pick and these two fingers to kind of interplay between the strings. So I learned how to do that to kind of emulate that sort of housey piano type sound on guitar. That sort of old school piano sort of house type thing. So I did actually write this on guitar and then I put it on piano, and then I decided that in the version that I released that I was going to do it on guitar and do it slightly more funky disco. The tempo I picked for this piece, I'd been watching over the shoulder of DJs I was working with in the clubs, people like John Fitz, a very talented man, and he was running the club hot a lot of the time. So a lot of the tracks were at 128, 128 beats a minute, but he was often riding up to 132 to make things seem a bit hotter, a bit faster. That was the fashion at the time. It sounded cool. So I actually made the track at 132. For DJs, they probably would have preferred that I made it at 128 and then they could speed it up themselves because they like to have, you know, like to feel like there's something that they're adding to this. And I quite understand that. And obviously it doesn't fit as easily in a set of everything where it's all 128 and they can just kind of ride the whole mix, you know? There was a bit of a learning curve that I had to learn once I'd released this track, that I'd done it at like a hot tempo. I like the feel of that, so I stuck with that. D minor, 132 beats a minute. Now I ended up taking this sort of piano house feel, which I'm using hybrid picking to accomplish. So what I'm doing is I'm using pick and fingers to sort of emulate this sort of old school type piano. Now I put it on piano and then decided that I didn't want to do it on piano, I didn't want to do that kind of thing. I wanted to do it more disco. So I actually ended up doing it a lot more funky type feel like this. So I actually recorded this on my Pink Telecaster. So when it came to writing the chorus melody for this piece, I used the same melody up front throughout. So it goes. So that's the first bit, and then the next bit is the answer to that question. So if we play the first phrase. So the first answer, second phrase, second answer. So notice how that has part of that harmonic minor in. Or we could say it was a Phrygian dominant. So whatever way you look at that, it sounds a bit Spanishy, it sounds a bit Latin-y, it sounds really cool, it's kind of intriguing, it's got some suspense to it. So then I go back to the ordinary. So again, I've just changed it back to being the flattened seventh or the dominant seventh, that minor seven of the D minor, rather than. Then the last time I'm going to use that raised seventh, so the natural seventh. So you get this. Last time. So you can see how I'm using that natural seventh on the end to create suspense. So I'm going up to the root and then down to that natural seventh. So it's got a really nice twist and suspense, and it keeps you kind of like in that kind of lovely kind of Latin-y, Spanishy kind of dance vibe. Thanks for watching today. If you like this track, please go and check out the full version. You can find it by searching Tim Scott Angel Dust. There are several different versions. There's a version with strings, a version without, no long version. There'll be links in the description below. And please let me know what you might want to see in future videos. But for today, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.